Hey guys, so this is a what if I've been thinking of for a very long time, and actually this was the original concept of how I was gonna do this what if Deku was betrayed, but I didn't do it because I didn't want to. I thought it would be more entertaining if Deku was the UA traitor. In this one, it's not gonna be that at all. It's going to be a way different what if, and I haven't seen anyone do this before. If someone has done it, well, can you please tell me? So, this what if starts with during the sports festival. Right after that, All Might goes to talk to him, telling him that I have a bad feeling about something. So I called in one of my friends. His name is Night Eye. His quirk is foresight. He explains Sir Night Eye's quirk. Deku's amazed and said, "That's a nice quirk." He's like, "It is, but here's the thing. I'm scared about your fate. Watching you break your arms and all of that is everything. You've been breaking your arms no matter what you've done with your quirk, so I want to see how your future will pan out." Deku says, "Okay." So as Sir Night Eye grabs Deku to see his future, Sir Night Eye sees everything. He sees the League of Villains attacking another time during the forest training camp. He sees Deku learn how to master his quirk. He sees Deku take down Stain. He sees everything that Deku has done until he gets to the overhaul arc, as he sees Deku's death. And Sir Night Eye is stumbled in words, because, as of Sir Night Eye's vision, he actually sees Deku go into that full-powered state, but he sees him lose and die, and overhaul escaping. Sir Night Eye looks into All Might's eyes and says, "The future that I see, at first it turns out to be great, but then he dies." All Might is shook between those words. All Might says, "How does he die?" He dies in a way that is gruesome and terrible. He fights against a villain named Overhaul, but he's defeated. All Might thinks of ways to avoid the situation, but knowing that Deku will still take the same path as has been laid out for him, All Might comes up with a decision that he's not even wanted to do this once. He asks Sir Night Eye to leave the room as All Might looks at him and says, "I'm gonna need my quirk back." Deku says, What do you mean by that? I can just avoid the situation." He's like, "No, you won't. I know you're gonna try to change your fate. Give me the quirk back." Deku says, "This isn't fair. You know this, All Might." He's like, "I know this isn't. This isn't fair for me. I don't want to do this to you. I know you can be a great hero, but your fate has been set in stone. Give me the quirk back." Deku looks at him and says, "Why, All Might? Why do you do this? Do you know there's more than one way? You can help me in this endeavor. You can call many other heroes, but instead you decide to take my quirk and not be rational with this." All Might says, "Give me the quirk back." "I'm sorry, young Midoriya, but I'm going to take Sir Night Eye's suggestion of giving my quirk to Mirio." Deku, wallowing up in tears, he says, "All Might," he says, "I'm not going to say it again, young Midoriya. Give me back my quirk." Deku takes a piece of hair off of him and gives it to All Might and says, "Here." As tears start flowing down his face, Deku walks out. The next day at UA, Deku's nowhere to be seen. Sir Night Eye talks to All Might, saying that he had a dream about Deku's fate changing. And All Might says, "Isn't that good?" He's like, "No, it's not." And he says, "What happens in the dream?" He says, "Well, it's kind of dizzy, but Deku left you away, never to come back. Deku wasn't there that day." All Might said to Sir Night-Eye. He says, "I know." And he murders everyone in Class 1A, including Mirio, trying to protect those he loved. And he's like, "What do you mean by those he loved? He never even met 1A. He's like, he will meet 1A in the near future. No matter what you do, he still will murder everyone. And you will be in a weakened state. You won't even be able to use your quirk anymore." He says, "How do I change this future? You should have just let Midoriya die. Even though you thought it was your best decision. Either you try to fix what you've done, or you have to find Midoriya now and capture him." Now let's go to Deku. Deku was still angry about what All Might did. He knew All Might was doing this only to protect him, but he hated it. He was done dealing with everything he's dealt with. He had Bakugo bullying him his whole life, until he finally got the one thing he asked for every day of his life, the one thing he cared about truly, and that was a quirk. Deku felt betrayed that he lost the one thing he truly cherished. He had the one thing he asked for, even though it was breaking his body apart. He was going to find a way to stop it from happening. But Deku had lost it. Deku felt anger, rage, and in that moment, for the first time in his life, he actually hated someone. He hated someone with all of his power. He hated All Might. Even though All Might was trying his best to protect him, he didn't want to be protected. He wanted to be a hero that can smile through any endeavor, just like All Might. But of course, he was pushed back from his dream once more as Bakugo pushed him back. And he was done being pushed away, pushed every day of his life. As Deku goes to sleep, and four forces start to pull him in his dream. 4 forces. The one person said, "Hello, how are you doing?" "I am," how do I say this, "your life force." And another person said, "I am your rage." The other person said, "I am your positive emotions." And then the 4th person said, "I am your malice." And Deku says, What is this?" He says, "Well, combining all 4 of us, we make your quirk. Well, in a sense, we make your quirk." And Deku says, "What is my quirk?" The man says, "Your quirk is absolute control." He says, "What does absolute control mean?" Deku says. And the person said, "That's for you to find out. It's for you to find out what you control." As Deku jolts up awake, as Deku decides not to go to school that day. He said he had enough with it. Deku stayed home, thinking about everything that was going on with him, as Ingo said, "Why aren't you going to school, honey?" Deku says, Don't worry about it." People are asking, why isn't Deku going to school? Deku was here every day during school, but now he's just not here. It's suspicious. Todoroki, still contemplating about what Deku told him, it's your quirk, not his, and everything. And Midnight walks in talking about, well, Aizawa does this whole thing. You're choosing your hero names and all of that. They all pick their internships. Everything happens as normal, but just Deku's not there. And he gets Deku. All Might and them are talking in the lounge as someone says that Deku got a internship. All Might looks down, sad, and he's like, it's a person named Gran Torino. All Might is shocked because he didn't explain to Gran Torino what he just did, and he knows that Gran Torino is gonna beat the living hell out of him. So he does not know what to do. And from hearing the news from Night Eye, he knows this is going to be bad. All Might says that he needs to tell him, or else it's going to be terrible, because he doesn't want to get beaten up. So he goes to Gran Torino's house and tells him everything he did. Gran Torino, as expected, gets mad at All Might and says, how can you ruin a kid's dream like that? What would Nana say in this situation? And All Might didn't know what to say. And as Gran Torino says, you're an idiot, Toshinori. You know, this could be the kid's breaking point. Like you told me before, he was quirkless. This could absolutely destroy him. You should probably go to his house and talk to him. But he probably doesn't want to see you as expected. You could have just tried to save him at least. Try to save him from his horrendous fate, instead of canceling the fate entirely. Of course, like Night Eye said, he does a lot of amazing things. He saves a kid. He defeats a villain named Muscular. He takes down the hero killer Stain with 2 other people. He does a great job being a hero, and you had to cancel that subscription. Great. You made a real bad name for yourself, Toshinori Yagi. Deku's trying to think about what Absolute Control does. Deku touches the couch before sitting down on it as the couch shrinks into like a toy. Deku says, what is that? He feels weird as he falls to the floor and sits down on the broken couch toy. And Deku says, my mom's gonna kill me. As he touches the couch, the broken chair piece of the couch, and it turns back to normal, but being cracked. Deku's trying to figure out a way, and he's just touching the broken couch as it goes back to normal. And he says, what is this? I'm deconstructing, reconstructing, but I'm also shrinking. Well, I'm reconstructing, not deconstructing. I'm just fixing something and shrinking it. What is this? Is this linked to the dream I had? And Deku leaves the house for a minute and takes a walk. He starts talking to this person because Deku feels like crap, and he talks to the person, and the person says, well, I know you're feeling bad. He doesn't tell him about what happened, but he told him that his dream was absolutely destroyed by someone he really looked up to. And the man says, well, the best way to do what you do best is by proving everyone wrong. So if you do prove someone wrong, that'd be the best reward. Deku feels better about himself and says thank you. Deku says, I'm no longer gonna be a hero. I'm not gonna be a villain either. I'm going to be the best damn vigilante there ever was. As Deku decides that's what he's gonna do. But of course he has no fighting experience. None at all. Night Eye is feeling traumatized as he keeps waking up from a dream, talking about alternate realities. Everything being alternate, everything changing as an instant going on. Sir Night Eye calls All Might and says he had another dream, but it's weird. My dreams are giving me alternate realities. It's giving me possibilities of what's gonna happen. And he has another possibility of Deku being a vigilante. Yes, I'm gonna be fucking with all of you. You're not gonna know which possibility is which. Because I'm gonna just keep messing with y'all. So yeah, just know that. He has another dream about Deku being a vigilante instead of a villain. And in this one, he still takes out Stain. He goes to the forest training camp following the bus that they take and taking out Muscular still. And he doesn't, in this alternate universe, he doesn't get killed. Instead, he takes out Overhaul. All Might says, I really made a mistake. With that one decision, I've made alternate realities, different realities of different things happening. I don't know which one could happen. Deku being a villain, being a hero, being a vigilante. This has gone out of control. I don't know what's gonna happen next. And Deku, he decides to train his body. And he realizes that his quirk can do more than just deconstruct and fix. Because he realized about the deconstruction part. He realized that he can control anything as long as his imagination is running wild. His quirk isn't absolute control. It's imagination. As far as his imagination can reach, that's what his quirk can do. Deku says that quirk could be very powerful. I can make a quirk just like my old one, but just without the limitation of me breaking my arms. I can make Endeavor's quirk. I can make any quirk my own. As long as my imagination, as far as my imagination can go. Deku continues training as he wants to learn how to use a sword. He asks his mother if he can take up sword practice as sword practice. So he wants to learn how to use a sword correctly. Deku learns how to do it, but it takes him like a week. Then he says he's gonna reenact his fate of taking out the hero killer Stain. He asks his mom if he can go to Hosu because one of his friends is going there. And Deku goes to Hosu City. As he's running around looking in alleyways to fight Stain, as he hears an explosion. And Nomus start flying out everywhere. Deku doesn't know what to do, but he says, I can keep going. Deku starts saving other people, stopping them from getting killed by the Nomus, as Deku runs across an alleyway and sees Ida on the floor. Getting ready to be finished off by Stain, Deku jumps up and punches Stain in the face. Deku has a sword on his back and says, leave, and leave my friend alone. And Ida looks up to see Deku, smiling, saying, don't worry, Ida, I got you. He pulls the sword from his back and disappears in a flash. As he slices the sword right at Stain, but Stain blocks it. He throws the sword right at Stain as it turns into a huge elephant, stopping right on top of Stain. He calls the sword back and it turns right back into a sword. As he stabs the sword onto the ground, a huge crater on the earth is made, as many earth spikes start flowing everywhere around Stain. Stain is wondering what his quirk is, as Deku slices Stain. He gets a good slice on him, and he says, leave this area, leave this hero alone, leave Ida alone, Stain, and I'll let you go. And stop killing heroes. Sure, the hero system is flawed, but that doesn't make you the judge. It doesn't make you the jury, and it sure as hell doesn't make you the executioner. As Deku says, leave. And Stain gets angry as he goes to slice Deku. Deku blocks his sword, but falls to his knees as his blood was licked. But luckily, before that happening, he sent a message to Todoroki, his location. Of course, Sir Night-Eye told him about that happening, as before Ida gets finished off, a flame goes to attack Stain, and Stain jumps back. This is another person. I'll kill you. Deku gets up and grabbing Stain, because he uses his imagination to make sure that Stain's quirk is lifted. He grabs Stain by the arms and tells Todoroki to encase him in ice, as Todoroki charges up a full-powered iceberg, throwing it right at Deku and Stain. Deku teleports right to where Ida is, and says, wow, that was actually a good fight. As Stain is incapacitated and cannot move his arms nor his legs. He says, well, I gotta go, as Deku disappears, leaving no trace of him. And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, and comment down below how you felt. Peace out, and goodbye, everyone. See ya.